Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 23rd of April, comes to you from London. And we've had the 4-day holiday in Europe. Markets were open in the US yesterday. So, first of all, we see that the dollar index is still in its bullish position on all three time frames. So, that dollar bullishness is dominating, and that means the Eurodollar is still weak on the short, medium, and long term charts. So, weaker euro, stronger dollar is the theme in currencies. The dollar yen chart is actually relatively flat. Dollar just sinking a little bit here, so on the short term. So we might well see the dollar pulling back generally against other currencies, with that chart often being a lead indicator. Looking at sterling, we're teetering below the 130 level. This is looking like a consolidation, a move in sideways. Watch for a break of this support level this week. We do have downside targets, some 2-3% lower. Still a lot of uncertainty surrounding Brexit, of course. Against the euro, sterling is weak on the short chart, but medium and long term still looking pretty positive. Against the Swiss franc, actually sterling looking quite strong on that short term chart, so quite a mixed picture there. And against the Aussie dollar, also looking quite strong. Bitcoin rising further. Really interesting seeing this latest daily candle taking us to new highs here. So this move is confirmed, and we've got upside targets of 7, 17, 18%, 19% here. So no real short-term upside targets to speak from, but we are pushing higher, and the fact that we're making moves, we're above 5,600 a few hours ago. So Bitcoin looking like it's starting to recover, having moved higher than that move that we saw at the beginning of the month. The US market edged higher last night, still bullish on all three time frames. We're starting to get close to making a new high, but we've still got to get through that level. The Nasdaq also now pushing just to new highs here, so really this recovery now looking good. And also the Dow we see here, we just have a little bit more work to do to get to bullish territory there as well. We were down slightly yesterday. We'll look at the individual stocks there. The Russell 2000 has a lot more work to do and is still bearish on that short-term chart. So it's not broad-based, this recovery. The S&P future down very slightly. The Nasdaq E-mini down slightly. Not enough to really call what's going to happen at the opening today. The FTSE 100 index is up slightly this morning, so we are just seeing it edging higher as well. And midcaps down slightly, but holding on to the bull trend on the short and medium term charts. The DAX down slightly, although it's looking bullish, medium and short term. And the CAC 40 also looking quite strong. The strongest looking market really in Europe, very clearly into long term bullish. Looking at Japan, we're 0.3% higher yesterday, so we are seeing an improvement there. But Hong Kong was down 0.2% and China was down 0.5%. Not enough to take the market bearish. We've got some good upside targets all around. China recovery still looking pretty good. The lagging line just hitting some resistance there on the weekly chart. We need to keep an eye on that. The Sensex in India are up 0.16%, it edging higher as well, and the Aussie market up nearly 1% overnight, so looking strong there too. Brent crude is up 0.6% this morning at $74.48. The news on Iran and the embargo from the US is actually pushing prices higher. We see here how we jumped yesterday on that news, and we really are now looking very bullish indeed. And a shortage of upside targets to play for now, so it is quite hard to call where the top is for, or where the upside is for crude. WTI, we do have an upside target to $67. That's another 1.6% higher, so another dollar is left in the tank, so to speak. Looking at US nat gas, we are bearish here, sitting at $2.53 and really in the doldrums there. Gold sitting at 12.74. We're short-term bearish still. The medium-term chart starting to look a little bit worrying again, and the long-term chart, that lagging line really looks like it hit resistance in the cloud there, so not great news for gold. And then looking at silver, much the same picture here as well. We're just sinking a bit lower there too. US 10-year yields sitting at 2.57%. Fairly neutral looking for the moment. Taking a look at the individual stocks, we go here to Yahoo Finance to do that. We see here it was mostly green in Asia. It's mostly red in Europe this morning, and yesterday we were up in the US bar the Dow. Taking a look at the Dow 30, we start just by ranking the performers here. United Health Group were the best performer, up 2.4%. Not enough to change that medium-term chart, and still underperforming the Dow by 20% this year. On the upside, on the downside, we had Boeing. Their woes continue, down a further 5%. So really just struggling to shake off this 737 debacle, really. Apple, just while we're here, was down slightly, but their recovery is still underway. Taking a look at the Nasdaq, the best performers in the Nasdaq yesterday were Netflix, up 4.7%. Not quite breaking to new highs, but breaking this out of this consolidation pattern potentially. And then Tesla were down a massive 3.8%, so their woes continue. They're looking pretty bearish with lots of downside targets, underperforming the market by nearly 23% this year, so not looking good for Tesla. Looking at the Aussie market, we had Eclipse Group up 6.5%, and we had Galaxy Resources down nearly 4%, and that chart looking pretty worrying. China was mixed, as we saw, and the Nifty 50 in India, the best performer was Z Entertainment, up 4.96%. India Bulls Housing, still bearish, but up quite sharply at 4%. A lot of volatility here. And looking at the downside, we had Bharti Airtel down 8%. So bullish on the chart, but that's quite a big move to the downside there. A lot of volatility in the Indian market. Looking to Europe this morning, we've got, first of all, looking at the UK market, the best performer is Royal Dutch Shell, down up 1.9%. That oil price helping there, of course. We're seeing the same on the B shares, and also BP looking strong this morning as well, and good upside targets for BP, so looking pretty strong there. On the downside, we've got 3i Group, EasyJet falling. Of course, oil prices hitting airlines, that's not good for them. And we're seeing IAG here being hit as well. Looking at the 250, we've got Civitas Social Housing, we've got Caledonia Investments, they're up 20% this morning, and we've got Mercantile Investment Trust also looking stronger. On the downside, we've got Greencoat, they're down 14% this morning, so quite a big move there as well, and Funding Circle falling as well, down 6%. In Europe, on the Euro stocks, we've got Total, the best performers. The oil price really having a big move, of course. Total up this morning, and that chart looking better. Eni also looking higher. And if we go to the downside, we've got KLM. They're really falling, down 4%. CRH in Ireland also down. Here we see the live prices coming in from Yahoo Finance. So oil dominating the picture at the moment. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.